Rain poured down relentlessly behind the luxury restaurant, washing the marble pavement in silver reflections. The night was loud with laughter and music inside, but out here, pain spoke louder. A woman in an elegant evening gown leaned against a sleek sports car, clutching her stomach. Her face was pale, her breath shallow, every movement sending a sharp wave of agony through her body. This was Camilla Rhodes, 32 years old, self-made millionaire, feared in boardrooms and admired on magazine covers. Tonight, she looked fragile, human. She whispered through clenched teeth, barely audible over the rain. "I can't go to the hospital." Not far away, a man closed the doors of an old mobile repair van. His uniform was stained with oil, his hands rough from years of work. Jack Turner, 37, single dad mechanic, had just finished his last job of the night. He should have been heading home to his daughter. But then he heard the cry. He turned. He saw her bend forward in pain. Jack didn't hesitate. He ran toward her, rain soaking through his clothes. He knelt beside her, calm but urgent. "If we don't go now," he said firmly, "there may not be a later." She shook her head weakly. "You don't understand. I can't." Jack met her eyes filled with fear he knew too well. "I do," he said quietly. "I said the same words once, and I buried someone I loved." In that moment, the rain felt heavier. The night grew still, and fate leaned in to listen. Jack Turner wasn't a hero. He was just a man who had learned the price of waiting too long. 3 years earlier, he had stood in a hospital hallway, carrying his wife in his arms while she whispered the same lie. "I'm fine. Just give me a minute." He gave her that minute, then another, and another. By the time Jack stopped listening to fear, there were no minutes left. That night never left him. Now, Jack ran a small mobile repair business, fixing cars wherever they broke down. His real reason for getting up every morning wasn't the work. It was Lily, his 8-year-old daughter. She loved drawing cars, wings, engines that never failed. She dreamed of a future where her dad's van would never break down again. Jack made a promise after his wife died. Never let fear delay help. Not again. Not ever. Back in the rain, he recognized the signs instantly. Cold sweat, pale skin, rigid posture, shallow breathing. This wasn't exhaustion. This was danger. A security guard stood nearby, useless. An assistant panicked, unsure what to do. Everyone hesitated. Everyone except Jack. "When someone is dying in front of me," he said, his jaw tight, "it becomes my concern." He pulled up his sleeve, revealing a faded tattoo of a wedding ring and a long scar beneath it. "This scar," he said softly, "is from the night I waited too long." For the first time, Camilla looked past the oil stains. She saw grief. She saw truth. And something inside her began to crack. Camilla Rhodes had spent her life running from one place: hospitals. When she was 9, she sat in a sterile hallway while machines beeped endlessly. She watched doctors rush past. She smelled disinfectant and fear. Then a doctor knelt down and spoke the words that shattered her childhood forever. "I am sorry. We did everything we could." Her mother never came out. From that day on, Camilla built walls. Wealth, power, control. She crushed deals. She never showed weakness. And she swore she would never walk through hospital doors again. Tonight, that promise was killing her. "I'd rather die," she whispered, gripping Jack's arm, "than go back in there." Jack didn't argue. He understood. "I was afraid too," he said quietly. "Afraid of losing her. Afraid of those doors. But fear doesn't protect us, it steals time." Her body shook, pain mixed with panic. Her breath came fast and shallow. "What if the same thing happens to me?" she asked. Jack looked her straight in the eyes. "Then at least you tried." "My wife never got that chance because I waited." Tears mixed with rain on Camilla's face. For the first time in decades, she wasn't alone with her fear. And for the first time, she nodded. Jack didn't wait for permission. He lifted Camilla carefully, carrying her toward his old repair van. The security guard protested. The assistant panicked. Jack didn't stop. "This is happening," he said firmly. Right now, inside the van, there was no luxury, no leather, no chrome. Just tools, a blanket, and a child's drawing taped to the dashboard. A van with wings. "Daddy fixes everything," Lily had written. Jack buckled Camilla in gently. "If the pain gets worse, tell me," he said. "Don't be brave." As the engine sputtered to life, Camilla stared at the drawing. Something inside her softened. The fear didn't disappear, but it loosened its grip. The hospital sign appeared in the distance, red letters glowing through the rain. "I can't," she whispered. "Yes, you can," Jack said, breathing with her. In and out. 12 minutes felt like 12 hours. Jack talked the whole way, keeping her awake, grounded, alive. "You fix broken buildings," he said. "I fix broken engines. Broken things deserve a second chance." When they reached the emergency entrance, Jack turned to her. "Those doors are just doors. What's scary is what happens if you don't walk through them." He lifted her again. The doors opened, and this time, Camilla went in. The automatic doors slid open with a sharp hiss. The smell hit her instantly, disinfectant, medicine, memory. Camilla's entire body tensed. Her breath hitched, panic crashing over her harder than the pain. The bright white lights, the echo of footsteps, the distant beeping of machines. It was exactly the nightmare she had run from for 23 years. "I can't look," she whispered, burying her face against Jack's shoulder. "Then don't," Jack said softly. "Just hold on." His voice cut through the noise. Steady, certain, alive. "Severe abdominal pain, 2+ hours," Jack called out as a nurse rushed toward them. "Rigid abdomen, sweating, guarding. Possible appendicitis." The nurse didn't question him. She saw urgency. She saw truth. A wheelchair appeared. As Jack set Camilla down, she clutched his arm desperately. "You promised you wouldn't leave." "I'm right here," he said. "I'm not going anywhere." As they wheeled her down the hallway, a young doctor stepped beside them. Calm, focused, efficient. "When did the pain start?" he asked. Jack answered without hesitation. "Discomfort around 6. Severe by 8:30. Worsening fast." The doctor nodded, already understanding. "We'll take it from here." Camilla looked back at Jack, eyes wide with fear. He gave her a small nod. "You're doing it," he said. "You're the bravest person in this building right now." The curtain closed behind her. For the first time in 3 years, Jack Turner wasn't too late. The waiting room was quiet, too quiet. Jack sat on a plastic chair beneath flickering fluorescent lights, his elbows resting on his knees, hands clasped tightly together. His shirt was stained with oil and blood. He didn't know whose. Time stretched. 10 minutes. 20. 40. Every sound pulled it back 3 years. A door opening. Footsteps rushing. A monitor beeping too fast, then not at all. His phone buzzed. "Babysitter, everything okay? You're usually home by now." Jack typed back slowly. "Jack, emergency. I'm at the hospital. Tell Lily I love her." He leaned back, staring at the ceiling tiles, counting cracks the way he used to count breaths beside his wife's hospital bed. He remembered how he'd waited, how he'd hoped, how hope had failed him. A nurse approached gently. "Sir, are you okay?" Jack nodded. "I'm fine." She looked at him carefully. "Are you family?" He shook his head. "No." "Then why are you here?" Jack swallowed. "Because 3 years ago, I waited in a room like this and waited too long." The nurse understood. She gave him a small nod and walked away. Jack stayed seated. This time, he wasn't leaving. An hour later, footsteps approached. Jack looked up instantly. The doctor stood in front of him, surgical cap in hand. Calm, serious. "You saved her life," the doctor said. Jack stood so fast his knees nearly gave out. "She's okay. Acute appendicitis," the doctor explained. "Another 2 or 3 hours and it would have ruptured. She'd be in septic shock." Jack exhaled a breath he didn't realize he'd been holding for 3 years. "Can I see her?" "She's in recovery," the doctor said. "She's been asking for you." Jack followed him down the hallway, past machines, past rooms, past memories that once haunted him. But this time, he wasn't afraid. They stopped outside a recovery room. Camilla lay in the bed, pale but alive. Tubes ran from her arm. Oxygen rested beneath her nose. When she saw Jack, tears filled her eyes. "You stayed," she whispered. Jack pulled a chair beside her bed and sat. "I told you I would." Her fingers wrapped around his hand. "I walked through those doors," she said. "I actually did it." Jack smiled gently. "You didn't walk," he said. "You ran, even while you were terrified." Camilla stared at the machines beside her bed. "This room," she whispered. "It looked just like the one where my mother died." Jack nodded slowly. "I know." She turned to him. "Why did you help me? You didn't even know my name." Jack thought for a moment. "Because someone should have done it for my wife," he said. "Because I know what it's like to lose someone to fear. And because saving you helped save a part of me too." Camilla closed her eyes. A tear slid down her cheek, not from pain but relief. Outside the window, the rain finally stopped. For the first time in decades, Camilla Rhodes wasn't running anymore. 3 days later, Camilla walked out of the hospital alive. 1 week later, she made a call. "Come see me," she told Jack. "Bring Lily." When Jack and his daughter stepped into Camilla's penthouse office, Lily pressed her nose to the glass. "She's really rich," Lily whispered. Camilla laughed. "Very." She handed Lily a sketchbook. "Your dad says you draw." Lily's eyes lit up. Jack watched as Camilla smiled. Not the sharp, cold smile the world knew, but something real, something soft. Camilla placed an old bracelet on the table. "My mother's," she said. "I carried it for 23 years. She slid a contract beside it. "I want to help you," she said. "Your business. Your future." Jack stared, stunned. "My daughter named your company already," Camilla added. Lily turned the sketchbook around. "Second Chance Garage." Jack's throat tightened. 6 months later, Second Chance Garage was real. New location, new tools, new life. Lily's logo was painted proudly on the van, wings stretched wide. One rainy afternoon, Camilla and Jack stood outside the hospital again. "The hardest doors," Camilla said softly, "are sometimes the ones that save us." Jack nodded. As they walked back into the sunlight, Lily waved from the truck. "Did you save someone today?" she asked. Jack smiled. "No, sweetheart." He glanced at Camilla. "Today we saved each other." Second Chance Garage officially opened on a quiet Monday morning. The building wasn't fancy. Concrete floors, metal shelves, the smell of oil and fresh paint. But to Jack, it felt like a palace. Sunlight streamed through the open garage doors, landing on Lily's logo painted proudly on the van. Wings stretched wide around a wrench, like something broken that had learned how to fly. Lily stood beside her dad, holding his hand tightly. "Do you like it?" she asked. Jack swallowed hard. "I love it. 3 years ago, this future didn't exist. Back then, Jack was just surviving, fixing cars to pay bills, counting days instead of dreams. But now he had something to build." Camilla arrived quietly, dressed simply, no cameras, no assistants. She watched Jack and Lily from a distance, a soft smile on her face. "This place saved more than cars," she said as she walked up. "It saved people." Jack nodded. "It saved me." Lily looked between them. "Does that mean it saves feelings too?" Camilla laughed gently. "Especially those." Jack knelt beside Lily, resting his forehead against hers. "This garage," he whispered, "exists because someone chose courage over fear." Lily smiled. "Then we should always be brave." Jack hugged her tightly. Some doors don't just open buildings. They open lives. That night, Lily woke up screaming. Jack rushed into her room, heart pounding. She was shaking, tears soaking her pillow. "I dreamed Mommy was calling me," she whispered. "But I couldn't hear her." Jack pulled her into his arms, rocking her gently. He had no answers that could fix that kind of pain, only presence. "She's not gone," he said softly. "She's part of everything we do." Lily sniffed. "Is she proud of us?" Jack smiled through the ache. "I know she is." Later that night, Jack's phone rang. It was Camilla. "I'm sorry to call so late," she said. "I just couldn't sleep." Jack understood instantly. "Night's the hardest," he said. They sat in silence for a moment, two people connected by grief neither of them chose. "I used to think fear kept me safe," Camilla said quietly. "But all it did was keep me alone." Jack leaned back against the wall. "Fear lies. It tells you you're protecting yourself, when really, you're just delaying life." Camilla exhaled slowly. "Thank you for not letting me delay mine." Jack looked at Lily sleeping peacefully now. "Thank you," he said, "for giving mine a future." 6 months after the rainy night, Camilla stood outside the hospital again. The same building. The same doors. But she wasn't shaking anymore. Jack stood beside her. Lily waited in the truck, sketching quietly. "I never thought I'd come back here by choice," Camilla said. Jack nodded. "Neither did I." They walked inside together. This time, Camilla didn't smell fear. She smelled possibility. She met with doctors, administrators, nurses, people who saved lives every day, often without thanks. She listened to their stories, their struggles, their limits. "I want to help," she said simply. The hospital director looked stunned as Camilla signed the donation papers. Maria Rhodes Emergency Center, the plaque would read. Her mother's name. For the first time, Camilla felt something loosen inside her chest. Not pain, not fear, but peace. Jack watched quietly, knowing how hard this moment was. When they stepped back outside, Camilla paused. "That door used to mean death to me," she said. "Now it means life." Jack smiled. "That's what second chances do." Lily watched everything with curious eyes. She didn't understand contracts or donations or hospitals, but she understood people. That evening, as Jack tucked her into bed, she asked, "Daddy, why do grown-ups get so scared?" Jack paused. "Because they've been hurt before." Lily thought about that. "Then why didn't fear win?" Jack smiled. "Because sometimes love is louder." The next day, Lily drew a new picture. Not of cars, not of wings, but of three people holding hands in front of a big door, one small, two tall. She titled it, "Before and After." Jack framed it. "Because kids see what adults forget. That courage doesn't mean you're not afraid. It means you walk anyway." Second Chance Garage became more than a business. It became a place where broken engines were fixed and broken people were understood. Camilla stopped by often, sometimes with paperwork, sometimes just with coffee. Jack never asked for more. He didn't need to. One evening, as the sun dipped low, Camilla stood beside the van, staring at Lily's logo. "Funny," she said. "I spent my life flipping buildings." Jack smiled. "Turns out people needed fixing more." Camilla nodded. "You saved my life that night." Jack shook his head. "No, you saved it by walking through the door." They stood in comfortable silence. Some stories don't end with fireworks. They end with peace. And sometimes, that's the most powerful ending of all. Not all families are built by blood. Some are built by moments, by fear faced together, by doors walked through side by side, by people who choose to stay. Sunday mornings slowly became tradition. Camilla would arrive with coffee and pastries. Lily would show her new drawings. Jack would pretend not to notice how full the house felt again. They talked about small things. School projects, new garage equipment, bad coffee. But underneath it all was something unspoken, a quiet understanding that none of them were alone anymore. Camilla watched Jack and Lily from across the kitchen table. For years, she believed love was a liability, that attachment made people weak. But sitting there, listening to Lily laugh, she realized something terrifying and beautiful. Love didn't make you weak. It made you brave enough to stay. Jack noticed Camilla staring. "You okay?" he asked. She smiled. "I think I finally understand what I've been missing." Jack nodded. "Yeah, me too." Some healing doesn't announce itself. It arrives quietly and stays. One afternoon, while Jack was closing up the garage, Lily sat on the curb, swinging her legs. Camilla stood nearby, watching cars pass. Lily looked up suddenly. "Camilla." "Yes, sweetheart. Are you going to leave someday?" The question landed heavy. Camilla knelt to Lily's level. She didn't rush her answer. "I used to run from everything that scared me," she said softly. "But I don't want to run anymore." Lily tilted her head. "Even from us?" Camilla smiled, eyes shining. "Especially not from you." Lily thought about it carefully. Then she stood and wrapped her arms around Camilla's neck. "Okay," she said. "Then your family." Camilla closed her eyes. No deal she'd ever closed had ever meant this much. Jack watched from a distance, his chest tight. His wife had once told him, "Family finds a way." She was right. That night, Jack stood alone in the garage. The tools were quiet, the lights dim. He looked at the framed photo on his desk, his wife's smile frozen in time. "I didn't replace you," he whispered. "I just kept going." He imagined her standing there, arms crossed, proud. "You're doing okay," she would have said. Jack breathed deeply. Across town, Camilla stood on her balcony, holding her mother's bracelet. "I went back," she whispered into the night. "I wasn't afraid anymore. 2 people, 2 losses, 2 promises kept. Healing didn't erase the past. It made peace with it." The Maria Rhodes Emergency Center opened 6 months later. Cameras flashed. Speeches were made. But the real moment came quietly. Camilla stood before the automatic doors. Jack stood beside her. Lily held his hand. "Ready?" Jack asked. Camilla nodded. The doors opened. She walked through, steady, calm, unafraid. Lily squeezed Jack's hand. "She's brave now." Jack smiled. "She always was. Some doors are meant to be walked through twice. The first time you survive. The second time you heal." Life didn't turn perfect. Cars still broke down. Bills still arrived. Bad days still came. But something had changed. Fear no longer made the decisions. Second Chance Garage thrived. Lily kept drawing. Camilla kept showing up. And Jack finally smiled without guilt. One evening, as the sun set behind the city, Lily asked, "Daddy, do second chances run out?" Jack shook his head. "No, sweetheart. They grow when you share them." The van's engine hummed to life. Painted on its side were wings. Not because they escaped the past, but because they rose from it.